Hello and welcome to Callum Connect's Micro Podcast. Our guest today is Sundardas D. Annamalay. Sundardas is a doctor of naturopathy, multiple award-winning entrepreneur, and author of 4 best-selling books.
One of the most powerful disciplines I developed that was critical to my success was designing my day in 15-minute chunks. My guiding principle was simple. If a task could not be broken down into a 15-minute unit, then something was wrong. Either the process was incomplete, poorly designed, or I lacked the critical skill set that needed to be learned. While this insight came to me intuitively in my teens, I did not fully articulate or appreciate its significance until I was in my 40s. Over time, this approach became a cornerstone of how I work and how I advise my clients. I assumed the idea was self-evident because it came so naturally to me. I underestimated its depth and did not emphasize it as strongly as I should have. That changed after I faced a major health challenge in my 40s. It forced me to confront a hard truth. Productivity without structure eventually leads to depletion. I realized that looking after myself physically, emotionally, and mentally required the same discipline I applied to my work. It had to be broken down into manageable 15-minute care sequences. Self-care could not be abstracted or aspirational. It had to be operational. As I revisited my case histories and client summaries, a clear pattern emerged. Most people are capable of working long hours when required. What overwhelms them is not work alone, but the constant competition for their attention. Emails, meetings, notifications, family obligations, unresolved emotional stresses, and decision fatigue. Without a clear framework, these demands fragment focus, drain energy, and create a persistent sense of being behind, even when one is working hard. I consolidated these observations into a book that ultimately became a bestseller. It was a culmination of 2 decades of research and lived experience. I went deep into the neuroscience of how we manage time, attention, and energy, and how the brain responds to clarity versus overload. The 15-minute chunk emerged not as a productivity hack, but as a neurological reset point, short enough to sustain focus, yet long enough to make meaningful progress. Eventually, this work evolved into a structured course, allowing others to systemize their days, restore control over their energy, and build sustainable performance. The central insight remains unchanged. When you design your time consciously in small intentional units, you stop reacting to life and start leading it, one 15-minute decision at a time.
If you enjoyed this podcast and would like to find more inspiring information about entrepreneurs around the world doing incredible things, make your way to enterprisezone.cc.